Hi, I'm Deir, the author of Guided. Her spirit guide angels were her best friends and life coaches. Guided is my true life story and winner of the 2017 International Body, Mind, Spirit Book Award. Since before I was 2 years old, I have seen, communicated with, and even photographed my spirit guide angels. In Guided, I use my own life as a template to teach you what I learned from these loving, intelligent spirits. Most importantly, I show you how to make the connection to your own spirit guides and angels so you can live a guided life, a life free of fear and doubt, the life you intended to live before you got here. You brought your real friends with you, your spirit guides and angels. This week, with the help of my spirit guides, we will be talking about your first friends. Your first friends were your spirit guides and angels. You came into this world with these unconditional friends. They have always been with you, guiding you. You have never been alone. Before reasoning dominated your thoughts, you relied on your knowing. Knowing relies solely on what you feel the instant you feel it. As a small child, you don't question this knowing, so doubt never has an opportunity to interfere. Hands down, this had to be the best time of your life, but it doesn't last long. That's because the people who got here before you did thought they knew better than you did, interrupting who you knew, who you were, and who you knew best. After all, in their minds, you were just a kid and didn't know anything. At least that's the common myth. You didn't think about who these friends were, your spirit guides and angels, only that they were always there when you reached out to them. They helped you understand and experience new things. It was a natural feeling to be with them. There was no separation between you and them. You never felt alone. It was peaceful and easy to learn the way you did because they didn't teach you anything. They just triggered you with events that ignited your passions and set you on your journey of self-realization. They were always there to help you understand when you had questions. It was a natural response to ask these friends first. The answers came as fast as your curiosity and wonder created the question, making it feel like both the question and answer happened at the same time. These friends came to you so naturally that you never questioned their validity. You weren't hiding these friends from anyone, but you weren't talking about them to anyone either. You weren't concerned with anyone else's opinion or judgment of you or them. This is why you were able to easily connect with them anytime you wanted. They were not separate from you because you knew them, remembered them, and you were one with them. You knew you were not alone. This was as natural as it gets because it was the pure truth and love. It's what it was like before you got here. This was all possible before you completely acclimated into this world. This was the time in your life that you effortlessly lived in two worlds, this one and the one you came from. Everything was new, except the ongoing support of your old friends. Those who came along to guide you throughout this lifetime, your spirit guides and angels. You knew you mattered and were important. You were not afraid of anything as you learned and played in their presence. There was nothing you couldn't do. You tried everything. You liked who you were. So far, this was a smooth transition from the spirit world into this world. You did all of this unconsciously. Although all of this came natural to you, it was also lucid and intangible. At this young age, you didn't complicate it with any reasoning. You couldn't, even if you tried. From the age you are now, you can see what it would take, a person, even who was pretty insightful as an adult, to recall these early beginnings in their own life, to connect with this dual reality you were experiencing so naturally. Going back to the beginning will require that you release the rigid reasoning you have developed as an adult. Remembering these early days and your solid connection to those who agreed to accompany you throughout this lifetime, your spirit guides and angels, is what you need to revisit to rekindle this vital relationship and friendship. Doing this review is how you will be able to see the whole picture, where you came from and why you are here. Once you make this connection, you can finally get around to living your life purpose. So these friends who came with you on that very first day are more important than you ever imagined. With their help, you can accomplish everything you intended before you came here, the reason you came here. So this is Ray Hawley, my husband, my partner, my everything, okay?
And the man behind the curtain.
He is. He handles all the technical stuff. So he's going to ask me some questions, and please feel free to ask questions yourself. You can do that by clicking on the video where it says click for more, and you can leave a question or a comment, and Ray will see it and he will announce it so that I can talk about that with you, all right? And just so you know, you can see us on this Facebook Live video, and we can see what you are typing into the stream, okay? So in the meantime, Ray's going to ask me some questions.
Well, I have a lot of questions about friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you ever see those tests where they give you like a couple of words, 2 or 3 words, that such and such is like, and then it's blank, and you have to fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Right? Well, if you look at friendships, and you ask people, friendships are, finish this sentence, friendships are blank, I think you would get a lot of answers that were like difficult. Friendships are difficult. Friendships are trying. Friendships are hard.
Something like relationships.
Hard to find, yeah.
Right.
Friendships are stressful.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting is...
Or how about friendships are wonderful?
See, that's my point. I think people believe friendships are all these negative answers. You know, it's like a relationship. It's stressful, it's difficult, it's elusive, it's, you know, put them on, but they all seem to be negative answers. But when you have friendships with your guides, it's none of that.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what you came in with. You know, it was effortless.
Right.
Like you said in the beginning.
It's so natural.
You shouldn't have to work at them. You shouldn't have to work at a friendship. You shouldn't have to
Like a relationship.
It should feel good.
It should feel natural.
It should feel natural.
Okay,
It should
wait a
feel
minute,
good.
Ray. Why should it feel natural and why should it feel good?
Because if it doesn't, you don't really have a relationship. You don't really have a friendship.
But what do you have it to compare it to? You know, I mean, if most of the time you have experienced friendships or relationships that are conditional. Let's just wrap it up with that one.
Okay.
Word. All right. Then, do you get my point here?
I do.
Then, okay, go ahead.
So these relationships with your friends, they're both relationships. You have a relationship with your spouse, you have a relationship with your friends, you have a relationship with your family. But the friend part is kind of difficult because people feel obligated, I think, to have their family as friends. You know, they're my siblings, they're my, my cousins, whatever, my aunts, my uncles. You feel obligated to have them as friends. You want them to like you. You want to like them.
You go over the top for them.
Right. You
Okay.
go out of your way to even compromise in one or more areas to have a friendly relationship.
So it's better to ditch a friendship
A stressful one.
or a casual one that's not family related.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So I think there's some questions you have to ask yourself. Well, let's back up another step. There's all kinds of different friends.
Okay, but let me stop you for a minute because let's see where we are. We're more connected to that than we are as an adult because we're caught up in what you're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but when you were a child, do you remember that unconditional, stress-free support that was always there for you?
Mm-hmm.
Friendship that was elusive and intangible and lucid, but it was there. Do you remember it?
I do.
I know. Everyone does.
Kids do.
Everyone remembers it. Even as an adult, we remember it, right?
And then somebody came along. Who was the first one that came along and interfered or tried to interfere with that relationship? They saw you talking to your best friends. You were in the sandbox playing. You were out in the yard playing. You were playing in your room all by yourself. And you were talking to somebody. One-on-one, who are you talking to? You're talking to your friends, your best friends.
So at that point, nobody takes you seriously.
Right. Somebody came in at some point and asked you what?
Who are you talking to?
Who are you talking to? Well, I'm talking to my invisible friends.
You can't even explain it right.
Well, a lot of kids do. A lot of kids have.
They try to.
They tell people they have invisible friends, but what do the parents say?
That's not real.
No, you don't. You don't have invisible. There's no such thing.
Right.
See, they're disconnected and so far removed from them remembering when they had invisible friends that they believe it. That they don't exist.
Right. Exactly.
And so they tell the children, no, you don't have invisible friends. There's no such thing. They don't exist.
Well, they're trying to sober up their kids. They're trying to sober their kids up from where they came from and get them to acclimate to this world fully so that they don't have to, so the parent doesn't have to make sense of it or they're worried about their kids functioning in this world. You
Right.
can't be
You
walking
can't go
around
out-
talking to your invisible friends, right?
Talking to yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, later on in life, if you carry on this friendship with your guides, your spirit guides, your angels, whatever you like to call them, your special friends, you carry this throughout your life, and you could be daydreaming in school about, talking to them. You're daydreaming.
People do it.
Right.
Little children do that.
Or as an adult, you're walking down the street talking to somebody.
Well, that's a little bit strange.
Well, nowadays it's not because you could have one of those things in your ear talking to somebody on your phone.
Okay.
But otherwise, before Bluetooth, if you saw somebody walking down the street, you thought they were what? They thought they were crazy.
Well, that's how my little brother got locked up, right?
Right.
All right. Yeah.
So let's talk about different kinds of friends. Let's talk about your true friends that you brought with you, your spirit guides and your angels, and let's talk about your family and friends that you have you made in school, And then you have a whole other dynamic with digital friends. I mean, you call them all friends, but they're very different.
So here would be how I would sum this up. How many of those friends that you've had in your life are still in your life?
Ah, that's a good point.
Or how many of those friends who call themselves friends do you really feel that they're friends? Why is it so hard to have friends? What's going on here? Why is it, I mean, you had a best friend, a friend that was just undeniably your best friend. You never even hear from them anymore. Or they can't talk to you anymore because they're in a relationship, they're in a situation where they can't really, you know, that was then and this is now, and they can't really talk about you. They can't include you into their lives, all right? For some reason. They've got something going on that maybe you'll talk about and expose about them that they feel they can't risk it. Something like that. So it's not that they don't love you as a friend. It's that life throws you these curves and it puts you under this pressure, and the people you're with can't handle who you really are. They can't enjoy all of you. So now you find yourself in relationships and friendships and whatever you want to call it, where the judgment is there, and you can't afford to have those friends in your life. So
yeah, there's all kinds of different friends.
So these are additional situations. These are not the same situations as you have with your spirit guides and angels and specialists that come through to help you in your life, on your life path, on your mission here, okay? They don't judge you. You can even make a mistake, a horrible mistake, and they look at it like, well, you know, that happened and you did the best you could at the time, and they're still on your side. They're still looking out for you. They're still with you. In fact, they never went anywhere. They've never gone anywhere. That's why I say, in Guided, I say, her spirit guide angels were her best friends and life coaches. They've never let me down. They've always been there. I never had to go looking for them. So this is the difference between what I'm talking about today, friends, and what you remember from being a little kid. I mean, I'm talking about 2, 3 years old, maybe even 4, 5, right in there, that you experienced this unconditional friendship. You came in with it, so that from that moment forward, any friendship you experienced out here was conditional. You had to do certain things to have that friendship. You had to do certain things to belong to that popular group of kids. At work, you had to perform in a certain way to really be liked, okay? And your mate, you had to perform in certain ways for them to accept you. And when you weigh it against the friendship that you came in with, the first friends you had, the real friends that you brought with you, that are never going to leave you throughout your whole lifetime, no matter what you have or have not done in this lifetime. That's the friendship you keep longing for. You keep wondering, why can't I seem to find a friendship, a real one? How do you know what a real one is? It's because you remember, okay? It goes way back. It's because you remember. That's where the journal, the companion journal to Guided, this is it, My Guided Journey. It's available on my website, lindadeir.com, where you can get it for free, by the way. You just download it for free. It's right there on the homepage. We'll walk you through remembering, regressing back to what the real deal was, the real friendships are, okay? What they were, what you remembered, what you communicated with when you were a little kid, when they said, who are you talking to? That's the real friendships. So when you compare, when you think about friendships you have now and you're disappointed, all right? Why? Why are you disappointed? How do you know that that's not good enough? It's because a part of you remembers what real friendship was. That's what this does. It dredges it back up. It triggers your memory. You write it in there, and through 18 of these pages in part 2, you rekindle this friendship, relationship with your own spirit guides, angels, and those who look out for you. That's the whole point to this. That's why we're doing this Facebook Live video, is to help you remember it, to support you readers of both guided and the companion journal to guided, My Guided Journey. Okay, that's what this is all about.
That's all about self-discovery and personal transformation.
It is, right.
Taking you back to when you were a new person. You were a baby when you first came here.
Right.
Everything was easy then. It was effortless, like you said. So when I'm looking at friends, I see 3 groups of friends. I see your best friends, which you've already covered, the ones you brought with you, okay? And then the second group is kind of friends and family, like that phone plan.
They're like your karmic friends.
Yeah.
They're the merry-go-round friends.
Yeah, friends and family. So you have, first of all, you have family, and then you learn, you have friends, you have cousins, and then you have schoolmates, and you gravitate towards certain types of people for certain reasons. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. And then you have digital friends. You have thousands of digital friends, you know, and you're so proud that you can get more and more and more. And hey, I got 3 more friends today and 5 more friends today. But do they really fit the bill of being called friends? There's even classifications of your digital friends, like that's my best Facebook friend, you know. But okay, so the difference is how you feel about them. All right? Do you feel good? I think that's the first thing. Do you feel good about them?
Do you feel like yourself? See, again, what are you comparing it to? Every time you ask yourself a question about friends and why you have them in your life, the minute you do that, you're starting to remember. You're remembering. Because how could you ask that question if you didn't have something to compare it to? Early on in your life, where it was free and easy, and your life was filled with wonder, and one thing after the other magically happened. And this was because of your relationship with your first friends, okay? And you had this smooth relationship. And if you fell asleep in the middle of something, if you did that with a physical human friend, they'd go, hey, wake up, wake up. Even your kitty cat would go, wake up, okay, and your dog. But your real friends, the ones you came in with, your first friends, they just wait, you know, they're right there with you when you're back again. They're right there with you. In fact, you go off and you drift off to sleep, they're there with you when you sleep. They're there with you in your dreams, helping you understand your life and why you're here and what your purpose is. This is your real friends. You keep thinking you're going to run into a friend like that here in this world.
Yeah.
That's not realistic. It's probably not going to happen. People pay therapists for things like that. Okay?
Yeah.
So they can pay someone that really listens. That's what your guides do. They really listen to you. Okay? They don't get bored. They don't sit there and go and get bored with you, waiting for you to shut up. They love you. They want to hear what you have to say. They want to help you work through it. They're with you. They're right there. They never get sick of you. Wow. Now that's the kind of friend to have, right? How come you can't find one here? Because you're all here working through the same lessons, the same dilemma, the same duality, the same life, the same, purpose. You all have a different purpose, but you come here to learn different things, and you're all under stress. You're all under pressure. And unfortunately, you guys, what happens is the way things are set up, it's set up to compete with each other. Now, how under those conditions could you ever expect to be a friend, let alone have a friend in this world?
Okay, you touched on certain things, qualifications of friends. You love your friends. You love these friends. They love you, right?
No matter what.
No matter what. You feel loved. You just don't say, I love you. You
Right.
actually
it goes way deeper
feel
than that.
loved by
Right.
these friends.
Right.
Do you trust these friends?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, now let's move on. Now let's apply those same things. You love your friends. You know they love you. You can trust them. You feel loved by them. Let's move into your circle of friends and your family. Do you love all your family?
It's a different kind of love.
Mm.
It's different. It's, you know, I don't know. It's a different kind of love. It's they're not always there for you, right?
Right.
So it's almost like you forgive them. They don't know any better. They don't even remember this relationship that they came in with, their first friends. So how could they do any better? It's almost like you have to forgive them for what they don't know.
Well, they use love as a weapon. If you loved me, you would have been there for me.
Right, right.
Your friends say that too.
Okay, so here's what's going on. Because of the struggle and the pain people go through in this life, they're trying to grab onto somebody else like a buoy, like something that's going to help them float above all this, save them. All right. Everybody here in this world is doing the best they can, and they're carrying their own weight. Let's say the ones that are really there for you, to save you, to help you understand, to get you through an emergency, a trauma, something that's going on right now, they will never let you down. They will always be there with you. It's all about you making this connection, this rekindling of this connection to your guides, and doing it by page 1 through 18 in part 2 of my guided journey in this journal. That will help you remember this relationship, this friendship that you came in with. Okay, they're there. They are waiting for you to be ready. They've never gone anywhere. Could you ask for more loyal friends than that? Okay? They don't ever give up on you, even when you give up on yourself. So when your friends give up on you, if they're fighting the same battles you are, they're just trying to get through all this. They're trying to do it in one piece. So you're trying to lean on them and expect them to be this unconditional friend? That's a tough thing to ask for. It goes back to this early start where you have this connection, you have them to help you, you've got this wisdom and this higher knowledge that you always have access to. When you rekindle this relationship, this friendship, that then you can carry your own weight and you can even help someone else.
I mean, you have a circle of friends, okay? Let's say you have 10 or 20 personal close friends. You call on different ones for different things when you need help, right? Just like you call on your best friends. They can answer anything. They're always there. I mean, you don't have to pick and choose. But you find like, hey, when I have a financial issue question, I call this guy. When I have a relationship issue, I call her. So you kind of pick and choose your friends. And going back to the 3 things that we said about your real friends, you love them, they love you, you trust them, they trust you, and you feel loved. Now, can you always trust your friends and your family?
Okay. So I'm going to speak from my own experience here. This is why I have friends, but I don't rely on those friends for answers. They actually rely on me for answers. I quit that a long time ago. I have always had the best answers right here. And all I have to do is make this connection with my guides, which I talk about in my flagship book, Guided, about how I did this, about how this started from my first memories coming into this world and what they showed me and how this connection came about at 20 months old, starting at 20 months old. And that's why that's why I wrote this journal and made it available for the readers of Guided and for other people who want to understand how this works, so they can stop suffering in their life, stop struggling in their life, stop expecting other people to have the answers for you. No one has your answers. Okay, even if they did, nowadays, it's really hard to trust people, isn't it? It's gotten very hard because they're under, even people you could trust no matter what, like 10 years ago, they're under so much stress, you guys, that they might be ashamed of it, but they're just trying to survive. So they might say something to you that's off color or it's not totally true, and they need you to buy something they're selling or something like that, where, you know, they've got to feed their family, right? They're struggling. So how can anybody who finds themselves in that situation, that dilemma, that hopeless bottom area in their life, how could you ever depend on getting an answer from them that will help you in yours? It's not going to happen, all right? So who's left? Who's left? That's never going to lie to you. That's always going to tell you the truth. Now, you may not like what they tell you sometimes. They may say something like, you're thinking about taking a job, and they say to you, that's not the answer. That's not the right job for you. That's not the right position. But you need the money, right? So your fear and anxiety drives you in a direction that opposes where you've been guided to go by your guides, by those who look out for you. It's because you didn't trust your universe. You didn't trust what was coming next. You didn't breathe so that they could reach you, all right? And the answer and the great position and the opportunity could show itself, all right? We panic. That's what I did at 20 months old. I talk about it in my book, Guided, when I panicked and what it got me and what happened. And the instant I quit panicking, and when they showed up all around me and showed me what I needed to know and who I was, it changed everything. I knew from then on, no matter who in this world I'm with, no matter who it is, okay, I always seek out guidance from my guides because they always know. And all you have to do is sit with yourself, slow down, calm down, breathe, and stop panicking. Let them come through, and all of a sudden you're going to have the answers that you need. You may not have them the instant that you do this, but by having this new composure, okay, with yourself, like you were when you were a little kid. You weren't freaked out. You weren't worried about anything. You were still one with this universe. You still weren't completely acclimated into this world. So you were still connected to these source-connected guides and those that you are connected to from the other side. So you just have to reconnect with that, breathe back into that, relax back into that, trust your universe, and let it speak to you and show you the answer. And then, you guys, not only will you have your best friends back, your real friends back, your first friends back, you will be able to be a friend, a really helpful friend to those around you, to those who seek you out, all right? And you can only do that when you don't go down to their level, when you don't get caught up in their drama. If you do that, you can't be a helpful friend to them, because now you're right in the muck and the mire with them, right? You've got to stay detached, but not superior. This is not about being better than somebody else. It's not. It's about being centered in yourself, so that when that person's reaching out to you, all right, you can even breathe for them, and you can receive what they need to know. You will automatically receive it. It's called channeling, all right? And you will receive that answer, and then you will really be able to help that friend in a calm way. They will trust you when you're calm, and I'll tell you why. every time you communicate with your guides, the response you get is always calm. They never shout at you. They never shout at you. In fact, that's why they call it listen to the whispers, because they're always communicating and broadcasting to you.
I have an observation, and then I want to talk some more about something you brought up before. Some of your so-called friends, your alleged friends, they're only your friend because you always agree with them. Or you like the same teams they like, or you like to do the same things they do. As soon as you say, I can't do that, or I'm not going to be able to make that, you do that a few times, you're not their friend anymore. You stop getting invited. So there's conditional friends, all right? Now let's get back to the trust thing. You love these friends. They love you. You can trust these friends. They trust you. Now, you have friends that you love, right? Can you trust them? Can you trust somebody you love?
Okay, I'm going to speak, when I'm talking to you guys about this and I'm answering right, when I talk to you, I'm talking from compassion. I'm talking from the perspective of the guides, okay? So I can't help but do that, and it brings tears to my eyes because it's like when you're compassionate with somebody, you feel their urgency. You feel their pain. You feel their need, all right? And I feel like I need a napkin, so if you could hand me one. So when you do that, how could you ever get mad at them? How could you ever judge them or say something to them that's going to take them down another notch? How could you do any of that? All you can do is just let them vent, let them talk, let them express what they need to express, because these guys are in pain, okay? This is how your guides feel when you are struggling, okay? So you become real empathic when you make this connection to your guides. And when you see other people struggle, wow, it hits you like a rock, you know? So you don't judge them. You don't do something else to hurt them. You might have to walk away from them if they get too out there, too extreme with their behavior, whatever it happens to be, or they attack you. You know, it could happen like that. And still, if they attack you or they attempt to, blame you or, threaten you or whatever happens to be, you just know you keep your center. And you just know it's time to move out of the way. You don't make eye contact with that. You just move out of the way. You get out of harm's way. So it's not about, most of all, it's not about judging somebody. It's not about hurting them more. It's about if you can. It's about if you can help them. It's about staying in tune with your guidance, with those who guide you, so you can stay clear and you can stay open. And yeah, you're going to feel that hit you like it hit me, okay, when Ray said that. But that just means you're alive, okay? And that you just clear that energy and you just let them talk. And then if you can help them, if you get the guidance, and you will, if you stay centered and don't get caught up in their drama, you will be able to receive what's coming through to help them, all right? That's what you do.
All right. Friends, like you said before, are a relationship, right?
Yep.
Okay. To me, and to a lot of people, you can tell somebody you love them, they can tell you that they love you, but there's an element of trust there. You mentioned the trust has to be there. And you can always love, you can always trust, you can always love somebody you trust, but not the other way around. You can't always trust somebody you love, because a lot of times you're blinded by this love relationship.
Or this need.
Right. So, and the way you prove that, I believe, is when the trust is broken, the love stops to be there. It dies.
Then it's a compromise.
If you stay with them.
Right.
So you can love somebody, you can trust somebody, and you can always love someone you trust, but you can't always trust someone you love. Is that right?
Yeah.
Just so we're straight on that.
And that's in this world, right?
Right.
But when you're connected with your guides, and the more that you connect with your guides, the more that you align with your guides, the more you become like them. So when something comes up that's in this world and somebody pulls on you and they need your friendship or they need your help or they need you in some way, right? They need your advice. The only way you can really help that person is if you make this connection, reconnect, stay connected with this guidance, this higher source energy, all right? It's not superior, you guys. You're not better than somebody else. So don't go there. It's just you let it in. You don't talk about it. You just reconnect, okay? And that person who's talking, it's almost like you hear them faintly out there talking because you're connected to the guidance, and so you're spinning both plates. You're living in two worlds. You're now one with everything, okay? And that's where the truth comes through. That's where the love comes through, all right? That's where your true, what you have to share with that person, the value that you really have comes through. And when you share that with them, through all their struggle and agony or whatever they're reaching for, when you share that with them, they're going to know it's the truth. The instant you say it, they're going to know it. And here's another thing. When you say what it is, it doesn't take that much to say it. It only takes that much to say it. That's what the truth is. The truth comes through. It's very concise. It even comes that way for you when you're reaching out for guidance. It comes through very concisely. It's not this long, drawn-out dialogue. Boom, it comes right through. You just have to be open to it when it does come through. Just like they have to be open to it when it comes through. It may not always be easy to be someone's friend. They're asking you for advice. Here's what I got. Well, that's not what I wanted to hear. Well, you know, I'm going to tell you what came through, and I don't always get what I want to hear either. But you know what? It's what I needed to know. It's what carried me through my dilemma. It's what got me where I needed to go.
The guidance that you get that you don't want to hear, that you weren't expecting, that, oh no, I don't want to do that, that's guidance. Or, you know, you were going to drive somewhere, to go somewhere, and your guides thought it was a good idea that you should not do that.
Or you should take this turn instead of that turn.
Or your car didn't run.
Right. And you're angry because you can't get to your destination. Well, there was something that got in your way. It kind of like got in your way to get you out of the way. So you wouldn't, whatever that was, that you'll never know what that was. You know, something prevented that from happening. Now, that's trusting your universe. You're not used to doing that.
Here's a good question. And then we need to talk a little bit about the structure of what these sessions are going to be every week for some of the people, okay?
Okay, Ray.
All right. Now, when you see something like this, a guide, spirit guide, angel, whatever you would like to call it, standing in the room 7 foot tall, that's a pretty obvious sign. What about orbs? Are orbs guides? Is it guidance?
Yes.
Do they bring through guidance? How do they do that?
They let you know that they're there. Okay, so if there's, and usually what they do is they show up. My guide that showed up when I was 20 months old in numbers all around me, okay, shows up when I'm 44 years old at Christmas time. At Christmas time, when I'm taking pictures of the Christmas tree, right? So it was Christmas time when my guide came to me, and this time allowed me to take their photograph. Here I had my Nikon camera in my hand. What's the chance of that, right? So I got their photograph, and you know, in my book, I talk about 2 weeks later when I got the film back, film days, they came to me in a dream and told me the reason we appeared is so the world could believe. You're going to write a book about your relationship with us since you were a little girl, and there you have it. I did it 20 years later. So it happens usually around times when there's like a birthday or some celebration or something where everybody gathers together. Could be a funeral. It could be anything like that. But it's usually where it could be a picnic where people get together. And the orbs will come through. They're excited. They like that. They like that you're all together. They like to be included in that energy. Okay? So they're there. Now, why don't they show up at other times physically? Who knows why? But when they do show up, it's usually at those times when they do. Yeah. That's when this happened.
I think this is pretty intense. I mean, when you turn around after you saw this and took the picture and it went as fast as it showed up.
And nobody else in the room saw it.
Nobody else saw it. Why not? There it was.
Okay, you know what? That's another interesting thing, you guys. When you're connected to your guidance, all right, and you become more like them, so your heart's more open, you're more of an empath, but yet you're strong. You're stronger than you would be if you weren't connected, and more useful to yourself and everyone around you. In fact, you'll find that more people will come to you for advice because you're calm, you're cool, you're collected, and the information that you come out with is very good. It's intelligent. It's useful. It's something they can use right now. It's what they need to know now, all right? That's because you're more like your guides when you're connected to your guides, okay?
You become like those you hang out with.
You become like those you associate with. That is the truth. Boy, that is the truth, Ray.
Yep. Okay, so we didn't say much about that third group of friends, your digital friends, your Facebook friends, your LinkedIn friends. They're not really, they don't really fit the definition of friends as we explained it tonight.
Okay.
They're digital acquaintances.
Okay, so what's your question around that, Ray?
You can't get a lot of the feeling that you get. You can't get a digital feeling that you can trust them.
Okay. So here's where that fits in, because all these friends are important on your life path, all right? And you are important to their life path. So on the digital scale, I think of the digital friends as somebody, as people as a whole who connect with you because they like what you talk about, or they like the quotes that you either share or that you have come up with on your own, or they like your music.
They like something you put up. They put up.
They like what you're about. They like that you're a mom, and you have a child too that's battling the same things that they're battling, right? You have common ground with these people, so they become your friends. Become kind of like your fans when they're digital, when they connect with you digitally, who you haven't met in the physical world yet, right? So you've got, there's a real responsibility, in my opinion, with your digital friends, where when you do something like what Ray and I do when we do these Facebook Live videos. We really put our thoughts together on helping people understand how this works, since I have done this my whole life, right? So I share something with you guys that is something I'm really, really good at. And that's how I share my best with all of you, to help you be the best you can be. So that's what it's about. It's about as a world, okay, as a global family, that we get together and we help each other, and somebody might even email me a personal message, and I always respond to them, always get back to them, and truly care about them. Being connected, there's no other way to be, right? So this is the highest and best use you can be when you are one with your guides, when you can come from that love and truth that they're all about, and deliver the message with compassion, Don't just throw it at somebody and go, bleh, you know, but do it with a loving heart. Okay, do it with compassion, you guys, because that's how the guides will always speak with you. Although they tell you the truth, they don't tell you the truth with vinegar. You know, they don't tell you the truth with honey. They just tell you the truth with love and honesty. They tell it to you just like it is. They don't know how to do it any other way. They're just authentic. They're real.
They understand that love and truth are the same thing.
Right. That's how they see it. That's how they describe it.
Right. Okay. All right. The journal has 18 parts in part 2, before you start your actual writing in your journal in part 3.
Part 3.
And each week we're going to cover one of those 18 parts.
Right.
This is the third week.
Right.
The first two, last week, show what topics we've covered already, and you can see these replays of the videos.
So the one we're doing today is called Friends.
Right.
Okay? And the next week is going to be Our Relationship Grows. Now when we say our, the guides are talking to you. This is information that I brought through from the guides as they're speaking directly to you. And you can see this little girl right here on the swing. She's probably 3 or 4 years old, maybe 5. It says knowing and remembering. So this is where you know and you remember what you know, and you write it into your journal, okay? You just don't throw anything down on paper. You do this in a mindful way. You make this connection with your guides from the heart, okay? You breathe before you write anything into these journals so that you can tell what happened. By the time, what Ray was talking about, by the time you get to the 18th page on this, you know, on this rediscovery of yourself, on you discovering and remembering how you got where you are. Once you do this, page 1 through 18, you will have something physically here in this world that's documented, okay? That can't be denied. That pieces like a puzzle. It puts the pieces of your life back together again. Even if it's not what you want, it's what you defaulted into because you got scared, because you got knocked off your path, because somebody said, who are you talking to? And you were like, you know, you panicked. You didn't know how to have an answer for them. It all needs to be written in there so you can retrace your steps and get back on your path and reconnect, okay? Because now that you're an adult with a reasoning mind, not just the knowing part of you that came in, but a reasoning mind, you've got to document it all so the reasoning mind can look at the page 1 through 18, look at the steps in your life, the decisions you made, which most definitely are flawed, okay? The only way you're going to see the flaw in it is by walking through part 2, page 1 through 18, and listening to these videos and piecing it together, really getting it together. So you're not coming from being a victim. You're not coming from the drama that consumes you, okay? You're coming from breathing it out, a peaceful place, a place where you can connect and remember and go, no, I'm not going to let the things that have driven my life so far that haven't worked out too well drive it anymore. I am going to make this connection. I am going to focus on this. I am going to deliberately reinvent my steps. And had I known what I know now, I would make different decisions than I made then. That's what you're going to realize. So what people are doing with this journal is they're going through page 1 through 18 and they're writing out what they remember, right? Then they're reprinting these pages all over again. And in 6 months from now or so, they're going to rewrite what they know now and compare it to what they wrote the first time. Okay? And that's how you're going to realize how well you're doing, how much you're healing, what got off track, and how your life got off track. So you can get your life back and live the life you intended without fear motivating you.
So, one subject in part 2 of the journal every week.
Yes, one of them each week. We did one.
First
2,
one was fear,
fear.
facing the fears in your life.
Right.
And second one was learning how to ask your guides
All the time, anytime, whenever.
properly, how to ask the right question.
And just how to ask, how to realize you're asking even when you don't realize you're asking. You're doing it automatically.
Yeah.
And then
And today's session on friends.
on friends. So these are your first friends, okay? And you know your first friends from the time when you were a little tiny guy, but now you have to, it's about remembering what that was. And when you are disappointed with your friends in your life, in your world right now, why are you disappointed? How did you know to be disappointed? Why isn't that good enough? Why you have something to compare it to that you forgot you remembered, all right? That's where this steps in, and that's where you start to go, okay, I got what Linda and Ray are talking about. I got what they're talking about, and I know how to go back there. I know how to talk about those early friends, so that when I read about the early friends that I talk about for myself, for my own life, and I remember that, those certain things that happened, that time when I was in the schoolyard, or that time I was in my bedroom, and my mom screamed at me and said, "Who are you talking to?" Oh my God. Okay, I remembered when it was literally frightened right out of me, all right? You're going to write it in here. You're going to write that in here so that you can go, I see where I got knocked off my path. It's like getting thrown out of the car. I realize where I got shocked right out of this, okay? So I can, once I identify it, I can reclaim it. That's how it works.